This week's whistle is the Waltons C whistle in the electroplated nickel body with the red tip. As far as I can tell, there is nothing different about the red headpiece from the normal headpiece. I think they're the same mold, just different color plastic. I've done the usual blue tack tweak and a little bit of retuning like I do to most of my whistles. I will say that I like this whistle. I generally prefer nickel barrel whistles simply because I hear a little tighter tone in the increased barrel density. The pros of this whistle are that it's easy to play, it's attractive in that it's not the usual brass and green, so it's nice to see something different. A lot of the generations that have nickel barrels usually have the blue top, so this is pretty quickly discernible from the other whistles that might be in your collection. It has a nice even tone, and like I said, with a little bit of extra adjustment, it plays fairly well in tune. I think the two-finger B flat is kind of weak, but it is kind of weak or sounds airy and weird on pretty much all tin whistles. It doesn't sound that far off pitch, maybe a little. As far as cons go for this whistle, I think that there's not a lot to say. I mean, it's an inexpensive whistle. It costs about $9, and I mean, really everything's pretty right given that low of a price point. It does have a tendency to be a little shrieky, or if you're not careful, like a lot of mass production whistles, there might be a little bit of a gouge or an imperfection in one of the holes. I haven't really seen that with this one, but I have seen it with other ones. This one just was a keeper for me. Just like generation whistles, Fat Dog whistles, they do tend to have some quality control issues. So you might get one that has a great head and a little bit weird of a body, or vice versa. Or you might luck into one that is near perfect. You might have the misfortune of buying one that is just not great. Is it a good beginner whistle? I think most certainly. C tuning does tend to put a lot more classical music and other things within reach than D tuning does. D is more folk and classic Irish traditional stuff where you have the need for the C sharp and the F sharp. Whereas with C, you're playing do, re, mi, and twinkle twinkle in the key that it was written in. It's an easy whistle to play, it's inexpensive, and it looks pretty good. And even without the blue tack tweak, a little practice will get you the breath control you need to play this whistle fairly nicely. So the verdict is, it is a good beginner whistle. It's not the best, but it's up there, and it is well worth the $9 or $11 US that it'll cost you to get one of these. That was our whistle of the week, the Walton Nickel C, and I look forward to seeing you next week when we play something completely different. Completely different.